18 Ottawa 10K, and you can see that at this point in the lead is Alia Mohammed of the United Arab Emirates. She is the lead woman, but she's overtaken here in the final few hundred meters by Adamlak Berta of Ethiopia, who is the men's winner, and he finishes the race in 27 minutes and 48 seconds to capture the 10K at Ottawa Race Weekend. Big strong finish here for Berta.
Yeah, 27.48 on the roads is top notch. I mean, the course record is 27.24 by Dariba Merga, his compatriot, an Ethiopian, back in 2009. But that is really strong running. He looks good. He obviously had that incentive to chase down the top lady. And look at that. It'll be fascinating to see if they do go out really hard. The East Africans in particular, who to the right of that group, as we see it, look to have been fairly timid in the first few seconds of the race. Because if they go out slowly, if these first 3 or 5 minutes, if they don't really hit the straps, that gives the guys a chance. And I don't know if there'll be any feedback to the fellas that, you know, in the ideal world they would hear the 1 kilometre split of the ladies, and if it's not quick, then that will give them a little bit of extra hope in their hearts when their gun goes in about 3 minutes time from now.
Yeah, and there is a vehicle that is close to the elite athletes, both the men and the women, and I think there are people typically shouting out split times to them so they know how fast they're going. They have their watches as well, but in a 10K race, of course, you're not going to see the runners looking at their watches very often in a 10K race, right?
No, absolutely not. It would be in the back of their minds.
In about a minute from now, just over a minute from now, the elite men and the rest of the field will start, and it's worth pointing out that for thousands of runners, this is a big accomplishment. Running 10 kilometers, many of them will be doing it for the very first time in their lives, having trained for weeks, if not months, to be in this position, to be at the start line of the Ottawa 10K and to complete this race today. So it's a personal achievement and a milestone for so many runners, and we want to congratulate all of them today. There's so much to be proud of at an event like that, at an event like this where runners are achieving really something special personally. Many of them raising money for a particular cause, many of them recovering from an illness, or in some cases people who have just taken up running late in life. I was talking to somebody on the way to the race today who hasn't run at Ottawa Race Weekend for 15 years and is really excited to be doing it again. Here we go. We're going to go to the start now and watch as the men get ready to start, the elite men and the rest of the field. There is the start line for the full field. In the 10K at Ottawa Race Weekend, it is now underway. Look at all those runners. Huge group of elite runners at the front of the field. You can see the Canadian Kent wearing the blue shirt at the front of the field. And in behind them, thousands of amateur runners. We expect about 8,500 or so, who will finish in anywhere from 35 minutes to an hour and 45, maybe even 2 hours in the 10K at Ottawa Race Weekend.
It is all about participating, isn't it? You can't win if you're not in, and that's for the elite, a little chant for them. But for the rest of the mark, yeah, it's just an achievement for many of them to get round. You know, whether it's a 10K, a half marathon, or a marathon, it's great to see so many people out there. And you know, running is still booming. I mean, it's been a big sport in the Western world for many years. But of course,
heading in that direction very shortly. You'll see here that they're making a turn away from Bronson. Many runners who are familiar with this route will know that they're kind of going in the reverse direction from how the course has been run in the past, and that's because of the different start location due to construction in downtown Ottawa. But now the women are heading towards the canal again, and they'll soon be making another left turn.
Well, the closing speed mark was astonishing, because that winning time I got at 31:07. That is quick, considering they didn't really get working for the first 10 minutes or so.
And Kipkoech is in third. Ndewa in fourth place. And we're waiting now for the top man to come across the finish line. It looks like it will be Mohamed Ziani of Morocco. Here he comes to the finish. Ziani is the winner of the 10K at Ottawa Race Weekend. He bends to the ground. He kisses the ground, the wet ground here in Ottawa. And Kimitai is in second place.
Well, I got that winning time in the men's race at around 28:09, 28:10 unofficially. And Ziani ran a very, very honest race, didn't he?
Kachir finishing third. Now we're waiting for the top Canadian woman.
Is that Natasha Wodak?
I think it is Natasha Wodak, who is going to be the Canadian champion. There it is. No surprise to see Natasha Wodak coming across in 32.5 minutes. And she wins the Canadian championship.
Yeah, I got Natasha there at 32:29. She's worked for that as Natasha. One of the problems, of course, for the athletes who get dropped early on in the race, and you will get dropped early on when the leaders are moving at 31-minute tempo, is that you must spend an awful lot of the race on your own mark, and that makes it doubly tough. Being solo, out on those roads, having to gauge your own effort with nobody around you.
And here comes Setlak in second place among Canadians and getting a hug from Natasha Wodak.
Is that Jessica O'Connell coming through? Good run from the 30-year-old.
Yeah. 33:23 unofficially for O'Connell.
Yeah, she's a 32:22 runner, Jessica O'Connell. She'll be maybe a little bit disappointed